Welcome, everybody.
Welcome to More Than Money. I'm Mark Manella.
Stephen Balance.
And we're here to help you with everything financial from a biblical perspective.
All right.
Hope you're having a great week.
Yeah.
I know that a lot of people are saying it's been hot outside.
It's so hot.
All across the
So
U.S.
hot.
I like hot.
No,
I do.
Never.
I'd rather be hot than cold. I know so many people are differ on this kind of thing. So.
Yeah. I'm not built for the heat, so
Not
I'm
built for the heat.
Thankful to be indoors.
Okay.
Yeah, God made me many ways, but built for heat was not one of them.
That's hilarious.
So
many people are different about that. Yeah, see, Cindy and I, we could live on the beach.
Yeah. Beach is different.
Yeah. You know, tonight we're going to talk about some different things, but one of the things is...
Well, so other than doing it yourself, have you ever thought about maybe how to have your portfolio managed from a biblical perspective instead of the way the world does it?
Yeah, the first selection is the step to doing that is to decide whether to do it yourself or use professional management. Well, if you're going to do it yourself, that's a whole couple of shows in and of itself, and we should go there maybe the next show or the show after that. But today, let's talk about how to find a professional money manager that's in alignment with your faith, because that's so important, and that's the first thing to really be thinking about. First and foremost, above all things else, when it comes to investing your money, seek out an advisor who embraces your biblical values. This is
so it's not necessarily about the money to begin with.
Well, of course it is.
Well, okay.
Yeah, it has everything to do. I mean, you invest to make money. Why would you invest if you didn't want to make money? But everything in your life, if you're a believer, you believe everything in your life is God's. You're a steward of His. Everything you have is His. You're His twice. He created you and He bought you with a price, His blood. So when it comes to managing money, we have to remember that to be true and to embrace that. And here's why. If your investment advisor is not a believer and doesn't embrace biblical values, where's the wisdom he's using to guide your portfolio and your financial planning coming from?
Oh,
if not from the Lord.
Yeah.
I know it sounds really crazy, but you're trusting Him. You're turning your finances over to this person to manage them. Do you really want someone who doesn't understand your values, your biblical values? Yeah. But even more so, where is the wisdom coming from to manage your God's money for you in that person? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So you're saying that in order to have your values represented in your portfolio, someone actually has to know what you and your beliefs represent.
Yeah, that's definitely true. If they don't understand your values and your beliefs, they couldn't represent them in there. Some people could fake it, and anybody could buy a screening service like the Evaluator and do that for you.
Okay.
So they don't have to be a believer to do that. But even more so, their advice and their wisdom. That's what I was talking about in this one. If they're not a believer, we don't know where their wisdom is coming from. We know they may have great knowledge of the world, the serpent part of serpent and dove that we talked about so many times, but they may not have the dove aspect of it, which is really important. So seek out an advisor who understands God's economy, one that shows competence and really does accept biblical responsible investment concepts. Not one who can do it, but one who embraces it. Think about this. Not everyone who claims Christ is studied in the ways of biblical stewardship. So not only do you want a Christian, but you want a studied Christian, someone who understands the Bible. It's important to know their depth of knowledge. There are a lot of people who claim the name of Christ, even in Jesus' time, who weren't Christians. And there was even more that were Christians that were baby Christians. Paul wrote about that. Wrote letters, about it's time that you be eating meat and you're still on the Bible. Do you really want a baby Christian counseling you on your finances? if he doesn't understand the basics of biblical economics, I would think that you should be concerned about that. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah. One of my thoughts is, find someone who understands God's economy. You said there's a difference. Well, I guess maybe I thought about this. There's a difference between someone who can do it and someone who wants to do it or is honored to do it because they know they represent something more.
Exactly. And that's what's so important. When they get it, then all of a sudden, when you come to them and say, hey, liquidate this amount of money because I want to help this lady down the street who's going to lose her house, they'll say, well, that's going to impact your retirement. Well, it's good they bring that up. But if they argue with you about your charitable giving, if they argue with you about your desire to honor God in all you do by not investing, even in something that is making gobs of money, because it compromises your desire to honor God by loving this world the way He would, then you're going to be in a constant battle. Or they're just going to do the things that compromise your faith without you even knowing it. So find somebody who, first and foremost, seek out an advisor who embraces your biblical values. That's the bottom line. And then secondly, seek out an advisor who understands God's economy. Somebody that really understands what the Bible is about, what it says about money, what it means in the New Testament era, in the age of grace.
Yeah.
Somebody who understands giving and loving and all those kind of things. So do that. And then, another thing, one way you're going to say, well, how do I know this? I can interview somebody for a long time. Well, one way to know this is there's designation now. 10 years ago, what wasn't so much. There was one designation 10 years ago. Now there's several that can help you do that. For example, the CFCA designation that's offered through the National Association of Christian Financial Consultants for investment professionals who embrace biblical responsible investing, who embrace God's stewardship, who embraced honoring God in all you do, including your finances. It's earned and administered through the NACFC, the National Association of Christian Financial Consultants, and was the first professional designation for Christian investment advisors in the investment industry.
Oh, wow.
So it has some meat on the bones there.
Okay.
Secondly, there's the Kingdom Advisors designation, qualifying Kingdom Advisors. It's earned and administered through Kingdom Advisors. And the third is a new thing that's just coming out by More Than Money Ministries. We've heard of it. Right?
Yeah, pretty good.
And it's called BRIQ, BRIQ, Biblically Responsible Investing Qualified Seal. So for investment professionals who embrace biblical responsible investing, this will qualify them, and they have to meet a certain criteria to be BRI qualified.
Yeah.
They have to be licensed and in good standing with the national and state governing bodies.
Pretty fair. Yeah.
They have to show competence and acceptance of biblical responsible investment concepts. They do this by having a designation, like the one through the NACFC.
Okay.
That's one of the ways you can do it. They have to have proof of resources necessary to perform BRI analysis. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So somebody might say, I believe everything Mark's saying about BRI. I believe what you're saying. You want your portfolio screen, but they may not have the resources. They may not subscribe to Evaluator Services, the Premier, the one that sets the standard in screening, or something similar. They may not have the resources to do it. So no matter how knowledgeable or wise they may be, without the resources, they won't be able to do it. They have to have proof of those resources that allow them to perform BRI analysis. And they have to have a profession of faith in Jesus Christ as their Savior and the Bible as the inerrant Word of God. So they have to profess that. And finally, as a participant here, they have to prove through a letter from their pastor or elder that they are a participant and are in good standing in their local church. So all those things we've proved, the BRIQ, the Biblical Responsible Investment
Qualified.
qualified, and then it qualifies investment professionals. So if they don't have that seal, I'd say within the next 6 months, if they don't have that seal, you don't know whether or not they're
Yeah.
really qualified or not. Make sense?
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Yeah,
It's, you know,
and More Than Money's doing this because it has to be an outside company.
Yeah.
You don't want somebody in the industry doing this. You want somebody that
That's
is
true.
more of a ministry doing it,
Okay.
qualifying those in the professional industry. That's why More Than Money Ministries is going to do this.
So-
It is doing this.
So let me ask you this. Some people might be wondering, that sounds like an awful lot to get this seal. Why is this so strict?
Well, you know, the biblical responsible investment movement started. It didn't start 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, but that's when the modern day movement of it started. And very few people were doing it. So you didn't have to worry. Those who were doing it were obviously totally dedicated to it
Okay.
because they were giving up a lot of money and time to do it. Okay. Today it's becoming a thing. It's
Okay.
starting to happen. Every advisor is starting to, you know, a lot of advisors saying, I do that, and yet none of them are qualified. None of them have some of them don't have the resources. Some of them aren't Christians. And quite frankly, a non-Christian could do BRI screening, but really if they don't understand the economics, and again, where's their wisdom coming from to help guide it?
Sure.
Are they going to
Sure.
compromise if it gets complicated or hard for them? That kind of stuff. So what More Than Money Ministries is here to do is to help sort through the wolves in sheep's clothing.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And there are other people out there right now. We originally were going to do BRI certified,
Yeah.
and we talked about it. And this was a year or 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
We started talking about how More Than Money Ministries are going to do this, and then some people in the industry said, "Oh, that sounds so cool," and they just started putting BRI certified on the bottom
Yeah.
of their website, and there's no certification process for that.
Yeah.
So we're going to be the seal of better housekeeping seal kind
Yeah.
of thing for the BRI community. More Than Money Ministries is. And it's gonna qualify, so you can go out there as a consumer, as an investor who wants an investment professional who understands biblical responsible investing. You'll be able to see there's the More Than Money BRI qualified seal on their website, on their stationery, on
Yep.
everything they do, that will tell you they have the resources, they have the knowledge, they have the faith. And the wisdom comes from God and nowhere else.
Yeah.
You know, well, it probably does come from some, and they are practicing Christian. So that's what that's all about. But with the little time we have left, let's move on from there, because
All right.
that's how you seek out an advisor who understands God economy, because that seal will show you that they've met the criteria that would prove that. You should also consider the length of time the advisor and the firm have been in BRI practice.
Oh, that's true.
In biblical practice, practicing helping Christians. It doesn't mean that somebody new can't be good, but I have to tell you, I've been in the industry a long time, and considering the time frame, my own experience of knowledge and wisdom, obviously, it sounds vain, but I'm not meaning it this way. It has grown over the years.
Okay.
I made a lot of mistakes.
Okay.
And learned from them. As anybody in the industry would tell you, if you want wise advice, find an elderly investment professional.
Okay. Okay.
So that's important. That doesn't mean youth is bad. It just hopefully they have some elderly people in there who have been in the industry a long time, both in the worldly aspect of it
Okay.
and in the biblical aspect of it.
Mm.
Okay. And understand how your advisor, the person you're looking at or considering, is paid. Your advisor and the firm either make commissions or they are on a fee-based or a combination of both. And it's important really to understand this. In a perfect world, this wouldn't matter. It wouldn't be an issue. But unfortunately, we live in a fallen world, and it's important to know what motivates and encourages your advisors. A commission-based advisor can only suggest investments that they believe are in alignment with your goals, needs, and unique situation. This is called a suitability standard, and it's part of the regulations. A fee-based advisor is held to what is considered a higher fiduciary standard. This requires the advisor to put not only recommend stuff, but to put your best interests above their own at all times, no matter what. It's a higher standard. And you may have been hearing about this with the DOL, the Department of Labor updates, things coming out regarding fiduciary rule and stuff. Well, fee-based advisors have always had that fiduciary rule. Now they're moving it over to commission-based, or at least partially. Of course, it's important to know what charges will be, what they charge and how they charge, whether it's commission or fee-based. You should be comfortable asking questions about this up front, by the way. Don't ever be intimidated. If somebody doesn't want to talk clearly, concisely, practically, and respectfully about this, that's a sign you need to be moving on right away. With commissions, it's also important to understand the turnover rate of your advisor's portfolios. Remember, with commissions, they get paid on when they buy something for you and when they sell it. If their turnover rate is a lot, there's a lot of commissions generated from that. This doesn't mean that buying and selling is bad. It just means there are commission costs associated in doing a lot of turnover, a lot of buying and selling. You might ask how this affects the advisor's recommendations on buying and selling. For a smaller investor, a lot of turnover could cause an advisor to decide not to sell something or buy something because they don't want to cause those costs in your portfolio and erode your profits. With fee-based agreements, the turnover rate is considerably less important from a cost perspective, since no commissions are collected on the trades. However, there are other costs involved in both of them, such as transaction fees from some clearing firms or SEC fees, things like that. Those still could be in there, but the commissions wouldn't be there for a fee-based. The fee-based advisor plan usually fall into three different types. There's the assets under management billing, which is most common, and you're billed on the amount of assets that they're managing for you. There's the hourly fee. That's pretty self-descriptive. You can pay somebody an hourly fee to review your portfolio and make adjustments to it or give you advice. And then there's a flat fee or fixed fee. You're billed based on a predetermined fee. You and your advisor sit down and say, hey, I got this portfolio, these are the services I want, and I want to pay a flat fee. I don't care if it, how much it grows to or how much I want to pay a flat fee for that. Usually it's a combination of a few of those things, like some advisors will do assets under management and then a flat fee for additional services, which brings us into a little more aspect. Consider what additional services do you want from your advisor along with the portfolio management. Do you want financial planning, education, retirement, buying a boat or a house? But, do you want somebody to help you with financial planning? Do you want somebody with tax planning? Do you want somebody to help you with charitable giving or estate planning? There's so many different services that they may be able to offer you. And then consider ethics and standing in the community. And this is easy to do. How do you know if your potential investment advisor has had or is having ethical or legal problems? Well, it's real easy. Just go out to brokercheck.finra.org and you can look them up and you can see if there's any filings against them. But more than anything else, prayer. I know it goes without saying for those who have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, yet I want to encourage you anyway, no matter what information is available and how perfect everything may seem, God's insights includes the past, the present, and the future. God's insight includes everything, and we must be at a place of peace. God, the guy you're talking to, the woman you're talking to as a portfolio manager might be a wonderful, perfect, BRI qualified person, and yet God has something else in mind for your life and your plan and may be moving you in a different direction. So pray first that God will help you past yourself. And when I say that, I think a lot of people know what I mean, but for me, I get in the way of myself way too much. But past our fears, our greed, our insecurities, our lack of wisdom, our foolishness, then pray to trust His guidance and to give you clarity of His will, whatever that may be for your life. Then, when you're at total peace, make your decision and pray some more.
And I would even go as far as to see if or ask if your advisor would pray with you.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, if you're in it together, then they shouldn't have an issue with that.
Excellent, Stephen. Very good. Yes, absolutely. That is an awesome thought, because they should be, and pray without ceasing. That's what the Lord says, and we're praying for you, by the way. We're praying that if you have financial decisions, that you will seek out a godly financial advisor. And if we can help, let us know. Soon the new More Than Money website will be up, where you'll be able to search for a qualified BRI investment professional, and also have your portfolio screened for free on there. Soon my book that this content came out of will be out, and you'll be able to get a hold of that. And if you'd like a copy, all you got to do is contact us, and we'll be able to get you a signed copy when it's released.
That's extra fancy right there.
And hopefully that'll help you to honor God in all you do, including your investments. And for those people listening, our prayer is that you realize that life is
so much more
than money. God bless everyone.